Welcome to the Private Practice Startup Podcast, where we help mental health professionals grow their dream practices and live a life they love. We chat with successful private practitioners, business coaches, and marketing experts, bringing you tons of practice building tips. We invite you to take advantage of our private practice paperwork and our signature marketing e-course. And we have a gift for you. This is the exact methodology we use to create our six-figure private pay practices and have helped many other therapists do the same. Go to privatepracticestartup.com and on the homepage, click the button to download a free copy of your dream private practice playbook. Now on to today's episode.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Private Practice Startup Podcast. We hope you're doing fantastic today. And today we're talking about a hot topic in the world of technology and AI. And who better to do this than Danica Wolf, MSW and Chief Operating Officer of Simplified SEO Consulting. If you're like, why does that name sound familiar? You know who that is. Jessica Tapana. That's whose company it is. So if you are familiar, that's who it is. All right. So I hope that you guys joined us last week as my good friend, probably many of yours, Patrick Casal, joined us on the podcast talking about hosting retreats, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I know he just got back from his Ireland retreat. This was his second annual retreat, and I know he's doing it on an annual basis. From the social, I saw it went very well. I haven't got the down low yet, but I will definitely reach out to him for sure. So if you are thinking about hosting retreats, wondering about retreats, definitely listen to that podcast, get connected with Patrick. As you know, he's very authentic and will tell you like it is and also support you in fulfilling your dreams around hosting retreats. All right. So today we're talking about chat GPT and SEO and what you need to know as a private practice clinician. So I'm super excited about this because I feel like it's been all over the place for a little bit. I know I first heard it back, I think on New Year's Eve. One of my very good friends, entrepreneur, was saying that's what he was doing New Year's Eve, was learning all about chat GPT. So I'm excited. So let's talk a little bit about Danica. Danica is a coffee lover. Yay. She's drawn to the ocean and not so secret strategy nerd. As COO of Simplified SEO Consulting, Danica gets to spend most of her time helping therapists and other mental health professionals build the business of their dreams with dream clients who are already searching for them. As a birth business owner, former trauma advocate, university instructor, and single mama, Danica knows how important it is for busy business owners to get the info they need quickly with the action steps to implement right away. I'm excited. Danica, how are you?
Oh my goodness, I am doing so well. And I love that, that Patrick was on last time because as we talk about ChatGPT and where Jessica and I first heard about it or talked more about it, it was actually at Patrick and Jennifer's retreat for retreat planners at the beginning of January. So how fun is that? What a great synergy there.
Yeah, I love serendipitous things. That is awesome. Well, before we dive into this, so before we dive into this super interesting topic, let's just take a quick moment for our sponsor. Startup Nation, there are a lot of perks of being a private practice owner, and doing your own bookkeeping and taxes is definitely not one of them. How much should I pay myself? How much should I save for taxes? Do I have to pay quarterly taxes? These are questions we hear from therapists all the time, and that's why we partnered with the folks at Herd to help you manage your private practice finances. On average, Herd saves therapists 60 hours per year in financial record keeping and $5,000 in taxes. How many more clients could you see if you got your 60 hours back? And by the way, when you join Herd, you get access to a team of tax pros who will guide you on your journey as you build your business. With peace of mind about your business finances, you can put more energy into client care where it matters the most. Schedule your free 15-minute consultation today. Go to joinherd.com/private practice startup and use code startup at checkout before the end of April to get 1 month free when you sign up with an annual commitment. Again, that's joinherd.com/private practice startup and use code startup at checkout. So let's start with, what is ChatGPT if you've never heard about it before?
So ChatGPT has kind of swept the world. And what's so interesting, and like I said, not the secret strategy nerd here, AI we know that's not new, right? So we know that AI has been around for a long time. Many of us even, exist in homes with our little robot helpers, right? So whether it is our, laundry machine, our dishwasher, our, robot vacuum, or our little, I won't say their names for fear of, getting your Echo or your other assistant, talking to you right now. But, those assistants that are with us all the time, we've got robot helpers everywhere, and ChatGPT is another iteration of that. But it has really taken off and even transformed the way that content creators, especially, are getting information to their audiences. So really, that's what we're talking a lot about today, and how to do that strategically as a business owner. But it's been used for a lot of different things. So to, really answer your question about what ChatGPT is, it's simply an AI assistant that will talk with you. It will have conversations with you either on your phone via, its little app, or on the web, using the program that you can find. So you can find a login for it. And the final thing that I'll say about, what it is just that ChatGPT is one of a few different of these, AI little bots. So, most recently, at least as of this recording, we've got, Microsoft having, oh my gosh, I can't remember his name now. I keep calling him a him. That's an interesting discussion too. A web developer friend of mine and I have this whole conversation about, which gender each of these bots are. But
that is an interesting discussion right there.
Bard, that's the name. So yes, so Microsoft has Bard. We had actually been using Jasper.ai for some writing way before ChatGPT came out. And so when we were at this retreat and, started hearing ChatGPT this, and I'm using it for this, and I'm using it for this, Jessica and I kind of looked at each other and we were like, yeah, we had heard of it, but I guess we've got to pay attention now. And here we are months later talking about it a lot and using it a lot. It's been really helpful.
It's interesting. Like, a few things come to mind as you're talking. Like, you're talking about the robots in our life, and all I'm thinking is, meet George Jetson, right? His voice. Oh, right. I totally grew up on the Jetsons and Flintstones. That's actually how I knew what time it was before I knew how to tell time. But anyways, but it is.
Vacuum is named Rosie. Yeah.
Yeah. See, there you go. That is so funny. But I was thinking back as you were talking. So I got into business 13 years ago at this point, and I remember having to shift from academic writing and thinking to, more of a casual writing and connecting with clients. I had no ideal client back then, whatever. But literally, it would take me 2 weeks to write one web page, like crazy. So if you're new into business and you have all these AI functionality, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Talk about total time saver.
It is an absolute game changer. And yes, oh my goodness, that is one of the biggest pain points we hear from our clients. Because of course, when we're talking about doing SEO on a website, we are asking for content. And that can feel super overwhelming for a busy practice owner who is trying to, manage their CMS and their billing and, of course, take good care of their clients and any employees they have and their own life and any other things that they're doing. We work with a lot of what I love to call multi-passionate entrepreneurs, and you're not wearing just one hat. You heard the different things that I'm doing. Jessica started this business on accident, just by supporting her own private practice. I came on to help my friend, quote unquote, super part-time.
Whoops.
And I know. And now here I am running the company and barely have time for my own business, I'm not complaining, Jessica, but it is absolutely vital that we both find these ways to save time, but also do it in a super ethical way. And that's what we've been really diving into and why I'm so excited to talk with y'all about it, because we've found ways to take that, more academically focused writing or clinically focused writing that we're all more prone to do. I mean, the classes that I was teaching at the university were writing intensive graduate level classes. So when I came on with Jessica, while still teaching, and she said, "Oh, Danica, you've got to, put it at a 6th to 8th grade reading level." That I didn't think I was going to make it, y'all. I did not think I was going to make it. But now I can write to ChatGPT and say, change this to a 6th grade reading level.
That's
right?
amazing.
It's incredible, and that's not necessarily how everyone needs to approach it. But, being one of the biggest pain points we see, ChatGPT can do that in a matter of seconds, and it would take us hours, right?
Yeah, that's crazy. Before we dive into the whole discussion about how do we make this ethical and what else ChatGPT offers, let's just take a quick moment for our sponsor.
Are you tired of running to the lobby to see if your next appointment has arrived? Would you like a more discreet, stress-free way for your clients to check in? Take a deep breath. The Receptionist for iPad empowers your practice to create a Zen-like check-in experience. This episode is sponsored by the Receptionist for iPad. It's the highest rated digital check-in software for therapy offices and behavioral health clinics used by thousands of private practitioners across the country, including many who are just getting started. The Receptionist for iPad is a simple, inexpensive way to allow your clients to discreetly check in, to notify providers of a client's arrival, and to ensure your front lobby area is stress-free. The software sends an immediate notification to the therapist when a client checks in and can even ask if any client information has changed since their last visit. Start your 14-day free trial of the Receptionist for iPad by going to thereceptionist.com/PPS, as in private practice startup. And when you do, you'll also get your first month for free when you sign up. That's thereceptionist.com/PPS.
As a therapist, I can tell you from experience that having the right EHR is an absolute lifeline. I recommend using Therapy Notes. They make billing, scheduling, note-taking, telehealth, and e-prescribing incredibly easy. Best of all, they offer live telephone support that's available 7 days a week. Look, don't take my word for it. Do your own research. Therapy Notes is the #1 highest rated EHR available today with 4.9 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot and Google. Go to therapynotes.com and enter code PPS, as in private practice startup, and receive a special 2-month trial, absolutely free. And hey, if you're coming from another EHR, no worries. Therapy Notes will import your demographic data quick and easy at no cost to you, so you can get started right away. Trust me, don't waste any more of your time. Go to therapynotes.com and enter code PPS for your 2-month free trial. So share with us some of kind of like the good stuff, the maybe not so good stuff, then the bridging of the ethics and all that great stuff.
Yeah. So one of the things that make, Simplified so unique is that we're mental health professionals working with other mental health professionals. So, we don't hire quote tech people. There are plenty of tech people out there. We have mental health professionals who learn the tech, because the way that we're doing SEO is it's on-page optimization. It's working with the actual words on the page to match what your ideal clients are searching for, or meeting your potential clients where they are. And then the tech behind that, if you will, anyone can learn. So taking that to, and we consider that, a really ethical way to do on-page SEO that stands the test of time with Google. So I bring all this up for a reason. I promise I'm going somewhere. But Google doesn't love, so Google can quote penalize us for doing things like keyword stuffing or, other what we call black hat SEO techniques. And the people and companies who have done that in the past, whether they knew it or not, get penalized for it. They get caught eventually. And, we've never done things like that. They're never going to be a part of our repertoire. And another thing we know that Google penalizes is, quote, AI generated content, right? So we heard this, and if anyone at that retreat is listening, they're probably laughing that I'm even talking about ChatGPT right now, because when Patrick and Jennifer and everyone were bringing this up, Jessica and I were both looking at each other like, this is interesting. And I was the first to raise my hand and say, y'all, make sure you're changing things. Make sure that you are not just copying and pasting that to your website. So that's tip number one. If you're going to use AI generated content or content from anywhere else on the web, including your own website, it needs to be changed a bit. We don't want duplicate content. We also don't want Google to see it as AI generated content. So the trick for that is you have ChatGPT or whatever, Jasper AI, any of it, spit out some information for you. And then you read through it, you edit it. We go through multiple edits, right? That sounds really basic, but it's so important. So we use the Hemingway app to make sure it's the right grade level. So 6th to 9th grade level, reading level is most ideal. And Hemingway will tell you your word count and your grade level, right? So that's a great tool. It's just Hemingway.app. Then we run it through originality.ai as well. Now that is a paid tool, but we find it worth it. So we run it through there and it will give us an originality score. And we don't know, full disclosure, just like with all of Google's ranking factors, we don't know what score is, quote, enough for Google. But we assume that as long as you're under 20 to 30% AI, you're probably good. Because what we've found, and we were actually using this in team meeting the other day just to kind of train everyone, show some updates, different things. The pieces that originality.ai were calling AI generated content were actually the pieces that we had written from scratch. So maybe I sound more like a robot than the robot now. Who knows?
That's funny.
Yeah. So that's one of the big tips.
I mean, if you had some free time, you might want to be like, how close to AI can I sound in my writing? And then I don't have a contest to see who wins, in
right?
your
Oh yeah. We in all of our free time. That's kind of funny. Okay. So the other, tip that we have for ChatGPT, and really Jasper AI as well, is to give a really specific prompt. So you want to give it lots of detail. The more detail you give it, the more individualized that output is going to be. So when I give a prompt, I'm saying, so for example, I've got an email coming out to our newsletter, soon, and I let ChatGPT write it. I'm working smarter, not harder, right? So I said, please write me I always say please because again, I'm worried about them getting sentient.
Yeah, do robots say please? Interesting. I wonder.
Well, it's so kind. When you're kind to it, it's so kind back, because that just makes me feel good.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So I'll say, will you please write me an email to be used in a newsletter with a warm and informal yet professional tone. So I say all of that, right? And if I wanted it to be a certain number of words, I would say that as well. Email, I don't care about. Blog post, I do. And then I'll say about blah, 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 XYZ to these people, including at least these points. And it will always come up with more for me, but I'm giving it a nice, healthy prompt because then I have to edit it less. It's also going to use a lot of my own words throughout, sometimes in a way that doesn't feel too super natural, totally natural. So my edit is very important, but it at least gives me a jumping off point.
So what else should we know about ChatGPT?
I think that, while ChatGPT is the hot new thing right now, there will be some other iteration of it. Either ChatGPT will get better, smarter, different, or it will become paid. That's what we kind of expect to see. But, folks are always one-upping the other. And so any of these tools. So I've referenced Jasper.ai. We've been using that for a couple of years, actually. And then, we've taken those principles to use ChatGPT. Keep all of that in mind. So even if it gets a little bit different, better, easier, faster, whatever it is, still make sure that you're being specific. Still make sure that you're editing the content to sound more like you. Just like I talked about earlier, where Google rewards authenticity and, really meeting your clients where they are, Google's going to continue to reward still sounding human, right? Even though Google itself is not. Those pieces.
Good point. Good point.
Over and over again, right? We have to remember that. It seems human, but it's not. All those major algorithm updates that happen, a few times a year, folks get really nervous about. They're like, oh, do I have to change everything? What we have found over and over again is as long as you are consistently providing valuable content, providing information that sets you up as, it's called EAT. It's increasing your expertise, authority, and trust with Google, you're going to be rewarded in the rankings. So what the beautiful part about that is, as mental health professionals, as entrepreneurs, as consultants, coaches, whatever you are, however you're showing up, that's what your audience wants too. They want to know you know what you're talking about. So on the flip side of that, we talk about building your know, like, and trust factor with your ideal client. It's the same thing. That's the beautiful part. If we're talking about either one of those things, you're helping to be more successful either with your ideal client or in the ranking. So keeping the basics, always going back to the basics. And I've been on this recently. So if y'all are following us on social media, you've seen me talk about working smarter because we're already working hard. All of us as multi-passionate entrepreneurs, we're already working so hard. We don't have harder. We just don't. Or we're going to pull from somewhere else in our lives, and it's going to cost us personally or from our other, passion project or health-wise or all of the above. So using these tools is better for everyone as long as you're using them well. So working smarter, this is one of those pieces, and you can still build your, expertise, authority, and trust, know, like, and trust by using these really intentionally.
Good stuff. It's interesting. In the beginning of our discussion, as we were talking about robots and stuff like that, my mind often goes to, Will Smith, I, Robot movie, right? And it's like, oh my God, robots are going to take over and destroy us and craziness, yes. Right? The reality is we're still humans. Humans are the only ones that can provide that authentic, true human connection. And I love to hear, like, you talk about the amazing possibilities, whether it's ChatGPT or you said Jasper AI, to help us and then still making it human for us. I know that Kate and I with the Private Practice Startup for many years now, we've had other people write our copy, but we always go through it and review it and make sure it sounds like us. And so we've been doing this not with the robot, but with other humans that do it better, faster for us, but then making sure that we go back and adding our flavor to sure it sounds like us. And it's very interesting. We're actually going through a whole revamping our funnel for our marketing e-course. And there's testing with that, right? And so there was some introduction of some new emails and some new ideas. And sometimes like the data will tell us like, hey, maybe that was too much of a quick shift from what they're used to hearing from us, right? If you communicate facts and data and that's how you communicate, and then you go to communicate, more stories and things like that, that might be too much of a shift. So I love that there's other data tools to help you. Is this original to you? Is it not AI-ish? I love all of these tools. I was writing down notes as you were talking, so that's awesome.
Good. I love that. Hopefully will be, but of course, people can reach out and, we are talking about this a lot on social media. I think we'll continue to, because we know that it's something that folks are really hungry for, and they want to know what tips to use, what pitfalls to avoid, and how to work smarter with this.
Yeah. Anything that we miss that you want to make sure we cover, or you want to make sure we should share about? No, there's a long pause here on the podcast while Danica's thinking. It's weird, right? Because I'm like being mindful.
Right.
I'm like, wait, people, no, I just think it's funny because I'm like, we're interacting and I'm seeing you think or whatever, but people might be like, something happen? No, we're okay. Danica's just thinking. They can't see the nonverbals.
Yeah, so I can't think of anything. Things that we're using ChatGPT for, and we're, pretty honest with our audience about this too. We aren't using it as much to create service pages, although I know you could. What we've done, we actually have helped do that with Jasper AI in the past, having it, spit out some copy around pain points and maybe turning your therapy approaches into more of a paragraph form, explaining more about different types of therapies in a way that isn't as academic sounding. As clinicians, as mental health professionals, we can get very technical in our language. And so being able to describe something in a way that can also speak to that 3 a.m. trauma brain is key. So, turning, a page about EMDR from the, 7, 9, however many phases it is, into your, more approachable, more digestible service page around it could be a really great use for AI. Blog posts are really where we see a lot of this because, service pages, those are going to be a little more static. You might need to add a paragraph here and there. Those topic specific or approach specific or population specific pages, if you're not sure what I'm talking about, those are going to be a little more static. You've got those done, then, you're going to add some links eventually and whatnot, but you really don't update them a ton. Blog posts, the idea of writing, a new fresh blog post every week or every couple of weeks, or if you're really trying to build a couple of times a week. Oh, I know I said the horrible thing, but that can be made so much easier with the help of a robot assistant or someone else writing your copy. Again, the newsletters, blog post topics, you can get ideas from your AI assistant as well. These are all things that we've been doing for folks for a long time. And so, our SEO might suffer because we're not focused on our own work. And so we're doing, a lot of this for our own internal, system and processes and, getting our own content out there too. We've also, we've built a couple of offerings around it. We're a little hesitant just because things do change and shift so often. But we're keeping an eye on it. So, we'll continue to kind of take every update and put it through that lens of, ethics, of being really seen as the content area expert and making sure that that's all still shining through with these types of, convenience and efficiency tools.
Awesome. Love it. And just to kind of some of the highlights, I just want to kind of review the things that you had shared about, is definitely kind of use robot assistants to help you along, especially when it comes to SEO, writing, things like that, blogging, newsletters. You talked about the Hemingway app, which is hemingway.app, which will help you with, you said, not originality, but or is it was originality now?
Grade level. That'll be your grade level.
Mm-hmm. And then originality will tell you, do you sound too much like a robot or not? And you want between 20 or 30%, no more. And then when you're giving instructions, give a specific prompt, say please, describe the tone that you want.
Yeah, manners always, people.
describe the tone that you want your writing in. And then you said include these points, and AI will always give you more. Make sure you review and edit because you want to eat, which is show your expertise, your authority, and trust. Did I kind of summarize it all?
That's beautiful. I'm sure, we can talk about this for hours and hours, but those are, when I want to prioritize the things folks most need to know, that's what I need you to know. And I'm excited to see what folks create.
Yeah, very cool. And if you guys need help with SEO, definitely check out Simplified SEO Consulting for sure. Danica, what do you want our audience members to most take away from your message today?
Just that you can absolutely do this. You can create content. It doesn't have to be scary. There are tips and tricks, tools to help, but get something out there. We've been saying a lot around here, done is good, because we are high achieving perfectionists who, if you're like me, you're going to get stuck in the trap of, indecision or, not even being able to push, post or publish until it feels perfect, but getting something out there for your readers, for your audience, for your current and ideal client, potential client is key. That's how we stay, in business, stay relevant, and continue to provide value for folks. So you can do it. You absolutely can. And there are absolutely resources, services, people, and robots to help.
Awesome. Well, we so appreciate you being here. And I know you have a giveaway for our audience. What is that?
I do. So like I said, you all can do this. Now we know that SEO is an investment of time and time, money. I was going to say time, energy, all of those things, but time, money, or a blend of both. And so for our more DIY oriented folks, we have a promo code for you. So we have DIY courses, including our comprehensive top of search engine course. And this was just recently updated. It was updated and relaunched in January. So lots of content. You get lifetime access for it. And this code is for any of our courses, but you get 20% off of any of our DIY courses with code STARTUP23. So startup, and the year is 2023. So startup 23. And we have, of course, in the show notes, we've got a whole page on our website for you all specifically. It's just simplifiedseoconsulting.com/startup. And you can learn a little bit more about our other services. So if you're interested in working with me personally, I do all of our training, and I'm going to, I take on 12-week clients privately. I also have a small group, and I put all of those professor skills to good use. And we'll have a fall cohort launching soon. We've got total done for you services and an amazing team who handles that. And of course, you can talk with us about which option would be best as well.
Awesome. Well, I so appreciate you being here. And we've actually used Simplified SEO Consulting and work with Danica directly, and they're amazing. As you can imagine, I mean, Jessica is just awesome. She's a ball of energy, knowledge, information, and just, a giver. And we had a great experience working with you guys. So if you are looking to hire, I mean, I'm all for DFY, not DIY, but check them out for either. So thank you so much for being here, talking about this hot AI tool and topic. Go ahead and try it out. And we hope that you guys join us next time, as Kate and I are the guest and the host, talking about how to create more time freedom in your business, and how perfect that we had this podcast right before, because this also helps you do that. So we'll be talking about systems and leverage in that podcast. So Danica, thanks again so much for being here. It was a pleasure. And we'll see you later, Startup Nation. Startup Nation, if you like this podcast, we're going to invite you to subscribe, rate, and review. Where do you do that? You could do that on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, or you can go to good old Google, look for us at The Private Practice Startup, and write a review. Let us know how this podcast has inspired you, how it's helping you. We always love your feedback. And If you have a podcast topic that you think is either a hot topic or we haven't covered, or you really want to be a podcast guest, email us at kate@theprivatepracticestartup.com. That's kate@theprivatepracticestartup.com. We always love to hear your suggestions so we know that we can serve you the best. Until next time, Startup Nation, stay inspired and have a great day.
Thanks for joining us on The Private Practice Startup. Visit theprivatepracticestartup.com for awesome resources, free trainings, attorney-approved private practice paperwork, and so much more.